COVID, which you basically call the COVID Ghost, is a book that's very creative in the approach that you take by making COVID more of a scientific lesson as opposed to something to fear, like a virus that we have to fear, that is killing us, and what, you know. And I thought that it was, you know, the fact that you and Natalia Gutierrez, who happens to be one of your students from a Park of Creativity, decided to write COVID Ghost in a more approachable, understandable way. Why did you do that? Why did you think that was important?
First of all, my 40-year experience as a research in science, and also a professor, and also as an inventor. You know, I have like 27 inventions, and 22 have been patented.
Right.
And that had given me a tremendous sense of belonging, confidence, because creativity. So when I developed the part of creativity was not just to produce good students, because I think educational system do good job, all the educational system do good job in producing good students. But I want to make the difference in that despite being good students, we need to be creative. Not everybody, but the point who could. And when you got the creativity, that's the way. Creativity is only one. You just decide where you're going to apply it to. I mean, if your creativity is like intelligence, it's only one. The same creativity that I have for science, I could have done it for music. And in fact, I always say if I hadn't been a scientist, I could have been a music composer, because I can see it's easy for me, you know. And so I say what we need today in contemporary time is like happening in the old time, to stimulate the young people to create something paradigmatic, something novel, a law. Remember you that the Industrial Revolution was a product of the great creativity that was exercised in the 15th century, 18th, 17th century, you know. And that's when the whole society become equal, become with prosperity. Why is that? Because when you create something novel, because that's what creativity is, novelty, something that cannot be deducted from something that already exists. Okay, that's its novelty. It cannot be deducted. Like for instance, if I invent something, one of the criteria for invention is novelty, something that cannot be deducted for anything existing before. So when you create something novel, that can generate opportunity for everybody, for the highly educated person, for the middle educated person, for the lower educated person, and for the non-educated person. That is what we had to do. Create opportunity also for the non-educated person, like happened in the 17th, 18th, 16th, 18th, 17th century. And we could do it, and we would do it in much better shape. But what happened is we today only use the technology, but we are not into science driven as much as we used to. We are more into technological driven. And technology always follows science, not the other way around. Mm-hmm. And so when I write this book on science, on the COVID, I call it COVID Ghost Game. Because the COVID for me was like a game, or the ghost. Ghost means, ghost is something that you are scared of it, or you run away from it, but you don't know what it is. And you plan something for the future to confront it, but you don't know what it is, because that's the unknown. So in order to get the unknown, and we had to provide a novel approach. And we cannot continue presenting the good thing of science, the complexity of science, with a complex didactic approach. We had to present it with a more appealing, more attractive, but without losing the essence of science. And that's what my book is. I'm making the virus, I made the virus, I humanize the virus. So it's a dialogue of the COVID virus with the host. Very interesting. And presenting also, today in society, people should be they should be familiar with, for instance, with molecule like a DNA and RNA. But when I run a survey, most of the people knew about DNA, but from the point of view as a blueprint, but not within the context of disease or any. So I'm presenting that in a very, very good way, attractive way, with diagrams, with drawing and colorful, and also in dialogue and humanistically. This is a very creative, that's part of my creativity, with very colorful drawing. And the other thing on the book is that I hope to use this opportunity of the COVID, not to people run away from science, but to be attracted to science.
Right.
That's what I did for the young people.
Speaking of making the concept of the virus seem more approachable to people of all levels of knowledge, why is it important to normalize viruses in our society so we can better fight them with courage?
Normalize in terms of what?
Well,
You say normalize.
You normalize the virus in the sense that this is real, it exists. Here's a character, Momo, and
Yes.
and you don't need to fear it. You need to understand it.
Yes.
So that you can fight it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for such a good question. Yes. Because what happened is we always taught and trained for the known and not for the unknown. So we get scared of the unknown. That's what I'm trying to bring here is don't be scared of the unknown. And that's way by understanding rather than mystifying or ritualizing or doing fetishism with what happened. Let's get to do knowledge-based reasoning to understanding. And that's where the fear will go away. That have been demonstrated to our civilization.
Right. It's understanding what it is, and that way you can beat it. Otherwise, you don't understand. You just live in fear.
Because people are scared
Right.
to say, okay, this virus contains a protein called, spike, and another protein called, nucleic acid, and it contains the RNA, and it does this. And most of the fear of the pandemic was due to the fact that people do not have the knowledge to understand this.
Because people have such a lack of knowledge that creates fear about viruses, at the end of the book, what do you want people to take away about COVID in general and viruses?
All what I want at the end of the day is that people should approach nature, first of all, as it is, rather than scared of nature. Number two, people should be dealing more or deeper with the unknown, toward the unknown, not just the known. People should be more into biocentrism, that means more in contact with nature, so they can feel a little bit the intrinsically relationship between living and dying. And also people which should diminish the, I would call our our thinking that we are able to control life. That's one of the problems. We think that we have arrogancy with technology that make us think that we can control life just by going to the space or going to the deepest part of the sea. We also think that we can control life and make us to be a little bit fearful when the reality happens. Because while we have an idea, but we don't have the concept of the reality. And also, the other thing that people have to realize is that nothing is perfect. And what happened today, due to a lot of availability of information, people think they already have knowledge. And so they immediately think that they can get away with anything by sure, without having to understand the reality. So that's one of the biggest problems that we confronted today. The arrogance and also the lack of understanding of the essential, the fundamentals, which you don't have to be a scientist to understand the action of the DNA or the RNA. And also the other aspect of the COVID, by the way, we gave more importance to when we do epidemiology, because the virus, the pandemic, was confronting also from the point of view of epidemiology. That means the story of the disease. And we know by fundamental epidemiology that there are a triangle with we call it egalitarian triangle, equal size, 3 equal sizes to study any disease, including the COVID pandemic. One is to study the agent which caused the disease, which is the virus, and the other one is to study the host, which we, and the other one is to study simultaneously the environment. And that had to be equally focused. But what happened is for some reason, we gave more emphasis to the part of the virus. But I wish that we pay also equally attention to the environment, the effect of the environment, as well as the effect of the host. For instance, I would say that we should be checking the morbidity, the state of morbidity of everybody. Anybody who go to the doctor, they should have we have all kinds of technology for detecting morbidity. In fact, I produce one myself to see what is the state of morbidity of the individual. What is the state of antibody on the individual? What is the state of not only looking at the sugar, but the state of morbidity. And also look at the environment. For instance, myself, I have done a lot of study in the environment, and I found that the electromagnetic field is very important on the dispersal of any pathogen or any disease. Like for instance, sometimes I'm wondering, as I say in my book, why it was that in the northern pole there was a stronger effect of the virus in the population than it was in the middle, like in Africa. And of course in the southern pole was also extreme. So what happened is when you understand electromagnetism, you know the electromagnetism is very strong in the northern pole as well as in the southern pole. So the virus, like any other biological agent, is possessed hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, and other kind of ions which make us to be the inherited, or make us to be identifiable with the cosmos, make us to be in this small biosphere that is about only 10 kilometers from the surface of the planet and going down deep, where we live in a small capsule. That is nothing but atmospheric layers, and that atmospheric layers are mediated by electromagnetic fields. So that electromagnetic field affect us, affect what we have inside, including the virus, and also including the system of the virus.
So you're talking about, the different aspects of COVID, which were not really covered very well. Dr. Cuero, thank you so much for joining us. He is the author of COVID Ghost, Water and Chaos as the Conditions Necessary for the Presence of Life, Fear and Courage Today and Through Civilization. There are other books, you can find them on Amazon. Thank you so much, Dr. Cuero, for joining us and for sharing your knowledge and wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you.